Hi, scholars. This is Mrs. Williams reporting live from your computer screen, bringing you ELA Instructional Video Week 7. This week's skill is Draft Comparative Analysis Essay. Before we begin, this is an interactive video. It requires you to go get a piece of paper and a pencil. There will be times in this video that I ask you to pause and write. Please follow my instructions. It is very important that you are thinking through the steps with me. This week's Common Core Standard and Learning Target. Common Core Standard R.9. Analyze how two or more texts address similar themes or topics in order to build knowledge or to compare the approaches the authors take. This means I can analyze how two texts address similar themes in order to compare the approaches the authors take using a graphic organizer. Our focus today. We will read two versions of a popular fairy tale story. We will identify the theme of each story. We will analyze the similarities of the two stories. We will analyze the differences of the two stories. We will analyze how these comparisons help both authors approach a similar theme. So let's practice. We can analyze how two texts address similar themes in order to compare the approaches the authors take over the course of the text by comparing the stories. Our first text is Cinderella, a Walt Disney story. Cinderella is living happily with her mother and father until her mother dies. Cinderella's father remarries a cold, cruel woman, and then he dies. Then Cinderella lives with her stepmother and her two stepsisters, Anastasia and Drizella. They were very mean to Cinderella. They made her work all day cleaning, sewing, and cooking. She tried her best to make them happy. Cinderella's stepmother, Lady Tremaine, was cold, cruel, and jealous of Cinderella's charm and beauty. Her fairy godmother saves her, and she lives happily ever after with the prince. Our second text, Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters, by John Steptoe. Mufaro has two beautiful daughters. Nyasha is kind and considerate, but Minera is selfish and spoiled. When the king decides to choose a bride from among the most worthy and beautiful daughters in the land, both Mufaro's girls travel to the capital city. But only one can be chosen to marry the king. Mufaro's two daughters react in different ways to the king's search for a wife. One is aggressive and selfish, the other kind and dignified. The king disguises himself to learn the true nature of both the girls and chooses Nyasha, the kind and generous daughter, to be the queen. Unlocking our prior knowledge. In order to analyze how these two texts address similar themes in order to compare the approaches the authors take, you must first uncover the theme of the text. Please reflect on the 5 steps we learned 2 weeks ago to uncover the theme of any text. Take a moment and pause the video to reread the 5 steps. Theme, the central message, what the author wants you to learn or know. A broad idea about life, usually not stated, must be inferred. The theme of both stories is as follows. I've uncovered the theme for us to save time. Cinderella's theme is people who are kind and patient are often rewarded for their good deeds. Mufaro's Beautiful Daughters is a Cinderella story from Africa in which kindness, generosity, honesty, and love are rewarded and selfishness is punished. Compare and contrast. We can analyze both stories using this strategy. If you look to your right, you will see an anchor chart that says compare and contrast. The author finds similarities and differences in the people, places, or things they are writing about. There are possible key terms to help. Like, unlike, both, also, most, but, whereas, however, similar, as well as, to, same, different, on the other hand, yet. The reader can use a Venn diagram to help them understand this type of text. A Venn diagram is two interlocking circles. The left side is topic 1, the differences. In the middle is the similarities about both. And on the right, topic 2, the differences about the other text. Questions to keep in your mind as you're comparing and contrasting. What is being compared? How are they similar? How are they different? Similarities. Pause the video and analyze the things that are the same about the two stories based on what I told you about the stories. You can use the cover photo to help you as well. Possible answers for similarities. There is a prince to marry. There is a family structure. The concept of good versus evil is happening. There is a kind sister. There is a father. The prince reveals which girl is worthy of marriage at the end. Differences. Pause the video and analyze the things that are different about the two stories based on what I told you about the stories. You can use the cover photo to help you as well. Possible answers for differences. One is an African tale, one is an American tale. One family is African, one family is Caucasian. Cinderella has two evil stepsisters and a stepmother. Mufaro's beautiful daughters has one evil sister. The prince can transform into different things. There is a fairy godmother. How can we tie it all together? Pause the video and think about the similarities and differences we identified in the two stories. What can we conclude about the author's approaches to the theme? Let's tie it all together. Both authors tell a story where kindness is emphasized throughout. There are many similarities and differences among the two stories. However, the message that both authors choose to convey are the same. Kindness will yield its own reward. Again, the Common Core Standard and Learning Target this week. Common Core Standard R.9. Analyze how two or more texts address similar themes or topics in order to build knowledge or to compare the approaches the authors take. Which means, I can analyze how two texts address similar themes in order to compare the approaches the authors take using a graphic organizer. As always, this isn't goodbye. I'll see you soon. I look forward to reading the analysis of the two stories you choose for the week. Remember, you are choosing to read two versions of the same fairy tale. If you need help at any point during the week with your work, remember that I have office hours Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. I am always here to help, so please utilize your resources.